All right, morning everyone, or anybody that's actually watching this. We are just getting started, finally releasing the RC Tracker application. It's kind of a all-in-one application for basically RC inventory. Uh, you can add in runs, maps, rigs, batteries, controllers, creating backpacks or just bringing in parts, whether they're new, used, or, currently on a rig as a spare. It's kind of everything. And so just kind of wanted to give a quick breakdown of how this application works and runs, as well as doing a little bit of setup so everybody can see exactly what it all is. This application did start off as a cost analysis application. And after a few people have said that they didn't want to know how much money they were spending in their RC cars, we decided to kind of make that as a secondary option for this. So this application is 100% privatized, meaning that PNWTRC does not collect any data whatsoever. This stays 100% in your control. So you don't have to worry about us collecting your information. We don't see it. This application is also 100% limited to your computer and your browser, meaning that if you just run more than one browser on your computer and you're looking at it on Chrome and you switch over to Firefox, you're not going to see your data. You need to go back to Chrome. We did create a couple backup options, so this can be brought across multiple devices, multiple browsers, but at the end of the day, your stuff remains your stuff. I cannot stress that enough. So the first thing that we're going to go and look at is actually the settings. I feel that's pretty important to go over. And right here at the top, you can see the cost visibility. You can shut this off very quickly, very easily. And now your dashboard and everything else will not show cost. Cost won't even show up in the rest of the items. I like my cost visibility, so it's going to stay for me. Form level details are also going from minimal all the way up to detailed. So if you don't want to see a bunch of information about the RC as far as your notes, where you bought it from, how much you bought it for, things like that, you can go all the way down to minimal. Not a big deal. It's super simple. Down below, you can set your currency. Yes, we are creating this for the global market. So we have them, not all, but enough for them to, hit all the major areas. Same with the date format. If you want to go live in the UK, you can change that around too. Themes, and this is the one that's a lot of fun. We just got approved for the application through Google. So we do actually have Google Drive backup fully enabled. There is a privacy policy that can be viewed to see what information is shared or collected, but nothing is shared and nothing is collected. So you guys can go and read that if you double want to make sure stuff. For anybody that was on our beta testing and just played with the application before we came live, this is where you're going to really want to make sure you actually export that data first and then import it on the new location at app.pnwtrc.com. Because we did have to change the security on the back end, I've noticed that it does not automatically import through Google Drive, where, as you see, mine is connected but showing no rigs. This is a mistake I made personally, so I'm making sure that everybody is aware as to how that actually works. And like I said, you can come down here to the privacy policy and read all about it. Information that gets collected, how your information is stored. the whole 9 yards. We tried to be as transparent as possible and with as little security for our side, but providing the most security for our end user. So going back to the dashboard, now that we've looked at the configure the settings, some of the first things that you're going to see is adding your first rig. Definitely worth a good check on that. But like I said, you will be able to see the runs when you create them. Our entire map is also currently here as well. And I'm happy to say that it does bring in more information on the right-hand side as far as whether or not it's open or closed, permits required, if dogs, or, what kind of trailhead that is currently listed. It does not give you directions to there, but you can at least see the information. You can also add your own areas to the map, and from the map you can easily log a run directly on that trailhead or create a new one altogether. Going down to rigs, as you can see, it's empty at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and create my first rig. I do have it on the detailed, so we're going to go ahead and name this one. Which car do I want to grab? Let's do the axial wraith first. So let's call this the Ryan. Yep. For anybody that doesn't know, it's my Porsche bodied axial wraith. So, okay, axial wraith 2.2. Oops. Let's not create a bunch of messes. Build type, it's a basher, but we're going to go ahead and call that a rock crawler. My initial price for that car, I'm going to love to say it, was only 40 bucks. I don't really remember my start dates or my end dates. That truck is capable of 6S, but let's just leave it at 3. I'm running on XT60. And say this is the Porsche Cayenne body 2.2 Wraith. Bam, just like that. Now, if you do have hosting for images, there's a couple out there I can think of. I know Flickr used to do it back in the day, same with Tumblr. But if your image is hosted out on the internet somewhere, you can go ahead and put it in there and it'll show up in the rigs area. Documentation URL, this can go back to where you bought it from, or going back to the manufacturers to get the actual documentation for the truck itself, any additional notes. You can even add tags, full separation of everything. So much fun. This actually is my default rig, so whenever I'm creating a new run, this is the truck that normally comes out with me, so I'm going to go ahead and make it the default rig, so when I'm actually logging a run, it's automatically going to be chosen for me. So I just go ahead and click create rig. Bam, there it is. So you can go in, you can edit it, you can see the total investment, how many active parts, runs, the whole 9 yards. I haven't added any of the parts to this as of yet, obviously, in this, otherwise they would be showing up here. Like, I did have to change the transmission on it. So that'll pop up here as well. Going down the battery side, very much the same thing as the rig. You're just basically inputting information about your battery, where you bought it from. We do have the ability on this right now so you can actually see battery health. LiPo batteries on average have the 300 to 500 cycles. So as you're logging your runs and choosing your battery, because you get to actually name your batteries, you can actually monitor your battery's usage that way as well. So when you get up to that 300 to 500 cycles on that battery, it can start informing you that that battery could be going bad. So it does help you out, make sure you're not bringing along bad batteries on a run, or at least understanding that, you know, batteries can go bad, but now they can be tracked. Same goes for the controllers. I wasn't entirely sure about tracking the controller, but being able to tie the controller back to the cars, at least I know which controller is on which car. This kind of helps with people that are having the larger collections where we are buying multi-model radios. So we have 20 cars on our Noble NB4. We have another 15 cars on the G11P and sitting about 100 cars on the Spectrum DX5C. It gets kind of crazy sometimes trying to remember which cars are on what controller. This makes it a little bit easier for you. On the backpacks, this I wasn't entirely sure about either as far as a feature goes. The backpacks I thought could be usable for those who have multi-use or multi-scenario types of cars and packages. So I have my normal backpack for crawling, but then I've created another backpack specifically for when I'm out just doing competition level or when I'm going out to the racetrack. You can say what parts are in there, what batteries, what controllers are in there, whether or not you have your toolkit in that backpack or not. It's going to go back and forth. I like the idea. I just don't know the complete use case scenario for myself, but I'm pretty sure other people may be able to use that. The reports, sorry, not the reports, reading the next statement. The parts area, I'm actually enjoying this one. So I'm going to go ahead and add a part. I grabbed one of my little Spectrum Firmas off the shelf. Just kind of like as a show idea. So this is a motor and combo. So we don't have that. We're going to call this electronics general, part name, Spectrum Firma. Ooh. Manufacturer, Spectrum, part number, SPMX, SCMC18, purchase cost $49.99. That's not funny. Vendor, Hobbytown. I recognize that price tag anywhere. Don't need a barcode, serial number, nothing like that. So there it is. Wait a minute. Did I not have a purchase? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. So it'll just sit there in my parts. So if I say I'm doing a run, yep. New run. See, so the Ryan is automatically in there. No backpack. Solo. I'm going to do a solo run. Duration in minutes. That should probably change to hours. So we'll call this for like 6,000 minutes. I was a fast boy that day, so I went 1.5 miles. I can even select the trail on the map. Fully optional. So let's say I went, you know what? Yeah, I went to Die Hard RC that day. Absolutely. Local area, difficulty. That's going to be easy. We can even change out the weather so you can at least get an idea on, you know, whether it was sunny that day or cold that day, rainy, snowy, things like that. Weather kind of helps out a little bit when it's when we're logging the runs, especially if you happen to have like a trail break that day or something else, so you can get an idea as to what weather conditions can also help break the RC cars, such as if you're running unprotected electronics and it's rainy outside, water splashes up and there goes your receiver or speed control. Or if it's snowy outside, keep it in mind that colder temps do make our plastics much more brittle. But it was cloudy. So this is where it goes. Because I didn't put in a battery yet. It's going to sit there and say this stuff. Doesn't matter. You can go right on past it. Create the run. Bam. Just like that. So with information on here, now you can kind of see some of the items that are starting to show up. So, I got my one rig in there, total invested, just 40 bucks, just one trail run. But now when you go to your rigs, you can also see that total cost of $40, total cost of run, $40. And this will obviously be taken down every time you take that rig out. So it's kind of like, well, how much does it cost every time you take it out? You're like, okay, well, after 5 runs, it's down to $8 a run now, or things like that. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like I said, we are fully making this available for everybody to check out and use. You just got to go onto app.pnwtrc.com. And one of the first things that I would suggest is use the browser that you like the most if you have no options for backup. But if you do run Google Drive, the first thing I would do would be to connect that up so it can be synced. This will make it at least so you can save all of your data. Now it doesn't matter what browser I go to or anything else like that. I can connect to my Google Drive, sync my data, and it's all saved for me. That's where we're at right now. If anybody has any comments or questions against the app or how to use it, or how certain features of this application work or need to be worked, please reach out to me. It's easy to message me either through PNWTRC. You can message me through the Louis Dubuque account on Facebook. Our phone number is listed on most of our publications, the 2052 number. We've also opened up all the corporate emails, so anything at pnwtrc.com is going to come to me. You can title it The Jerk at pnwtrc.com and I'll get that email. Outside of that, I want everybody to have a great day. Have fun out there. Go crawl on something. Enjoy.